welcome back to Mostly a Paint Job. I'm very excited to show this off today. I am JSPOT, here to show off one of my custom builds. Today I have the RX-78-2 Beyond Global, one of my favorite models, painted up as the strongest woman in the world, Chun Li. Look at those powerful thighs. Don't cross her in a fighting tournament. Chun Li, again, coming from the Street Fighter universe. There, she is known as the strongest woman in the world and controls the powers of the lightning leg and the Kikosho and the spinning bird kick. I love me some Chun Li. She's very special to me. Either way it goes, this mostly a paint job here is mostly a paint job with some customizations. The biggest actual gunpla customization was here in the wrists. I had to bore out that that Beyond Global wrist port that they have. These hands came from the Nobel Gundam. Her wrists are set on the standard high grade wrist posts. So to get them in there, it was fine, but they're a little shorter than, say, a real grades post. And they're already set in an angle. As you can see, they're not sitting in there, straight. They're definitely angled on their own. And because of that, it didn't give a lot of space. So I had to bore out the Beyond Global's wrist ports there just a tad to make these fit just right. Other than that, I made some spikes here around her wrists as Chun-Li wears those spiked wrist gauntlets. Bangles, if you will, spiked bangles. With that, I just literally made stacks of claw plate I used some runner and glued it down and then just sanded it into little spikes. They're not the greatest. Then, as you look around her, I created this little front sash, which is part of her I don't know, what is that called? Her outfit she wears, her beautiful Chinese dress. That I glued all along the sides here. You can't really tell, but I put that on there. On the back, I did the same with more of a third strike look, a little longer in the split. I also made the bun holders that she wears. She wears the double buns, which I think is really cool. I've always had a lot of appreciation for that because of, well, Street Fighter. And the little ribbons that come off of it. Looking at her from straight on, I left the little visor piece and I painted it black. I shouldn't say I left it. I painted it black specifically so it looked like her bangs. Street Fighter 2, she has some really solid bangs going on. Very 90s. But then I actually did not paint the antenna at all, the V fin at all. I left it just so it would be completely different than the rest of the model. I really wanted it to stand out for some reason. But yeah, let's get her into a different position and go over this paint job. Here you can tell that this is mostly a paint job. And in this pose, I have her doing her back heavy kick, anti-air move, or maybe the end of most of her supers. Since Street Fighter 3, 4, 5, this is how she ends her supers. Very upward split-legged kick. Now let's go over some of the paint apps here. The main color, the blue in her dress, I chose to mix some paints. I've been trying to test that out a little bit more, as you can tell. I used the Daba D, probably my favorite blue that Turbo Dork makes. Jeez. And Maguro. I mixed those together at a probably I did it 10-2. I did 12 drops each time I filled the hopper, and I did 10 of the Daba D and 2 of the Maguro to make this kind of blue. I wanted it to be a light blue because in Street Fighter 2 it's a very light blue. So though looking at the others, it's a darker blue, so I didn't want to go completely like sky blue. And then I chose metallics because I wanted it to look silky yet robotic, right? Like it's part of a machine. Her thighs are this spicy meatball color, though I can't say it's straight spicy meatball because instead of putting it straight on top of primer, I put it on top of my skin tone that I mix up myself. For this batch, this Street Fighter batch, I had to mix up a new skin tone, so all 3 of them are painted with the same skin tone. So the thighs are skin tone first, then spicy meatball, of course after primer. Next, if you're still focused on the dress, right there in the middle, the kind of cummerbund that she has. I know it's not a cummerbund, but you know, I used Turbo Dork's Mother Load. I wanted to have kind of a pearlescent, different kind of look. In Street Fighter V, it has silver embroidery on it, little dragons and stuff. It looks really, really cool. Of course, I don't got those kind of skills yet. Moving on, her boots are done with a white primer covered up by pearly gates here, which is, looks like it's just silver, but it's not. It's a white with a metallic white fleck in it. It's very, very cool. I think it's gorgeous. It's definitely my favorite, just plain white that Turbo Dork makes. Simply next, her hair and her bangles are done in black ice, and the spikes on the bangles are done in sparkle motion. Now this says it's silver, and it very much is silver. And not only is it like a silver paint, but it has very heavy metallic flecks in there. Lastly, her highlights. I have a few different highlights here. They're done in Gold Rush, another Turbo Dork color here. Gold Rush. I did it on the sash, front and back. I did it on her shoulders, and I did it around her vents there to kind of work out with how her costume works in the game, but still leave it, you know, like a robot. Also, I put that Gold Rush on the tips of her ribbons here. Whoops. So as you can see, this is mostly a paint job. Not completely a paint job, mostly a paint job. Little bit of customization here. Yeah, I encourage you, if you look at this, I encourage you to go out and customize your own. These models aren't too expensive. They're very fun. I can't help but say it again. The Beyond Global is a very fun kit to build and fun kit to just have around.